Welcome back to Paintabilities. This is part 2 of our fall chrysanthemum bouquet. And today we're going to be finishing up this design. I'm going to be adding the leaves and berries and eucalyptus and doing some shading and detailing to the finished painting. So I hope you're excited because I am, and let's get started. First of all, I'm going to put out my leaf colors. So I've got some classic green and we've got some sap green. And we'll be loading these two colors together, so I'm going to put them fairly close to each other. And then just to brighten up that classic green from time to time, I'm going to put out some daffodil yellow. Okay, then we're going to need some white, so this is Wicker white. I'll put that over here. And then I have some floating medium, and I'm going to use, that's in this cubby right there so it doesn't run all over. I'm going to put out some berry wine as well. And this is classic French gray. We'll be using that for our eucalyptus. It's a lighter shade of gray. And I think that's good for right now. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is let's get some stems in here for placement. So I've got a 16 flat, and I'm going to go ahead and get that damp, lay it on the paper towel. And we're going to load with our two greens. So I'm going to get one green and come over and side load the other. So I've got classic green and sap. Okay, and so we're just going to put some stems in here, or where we want to place some leaves and some of these eucalyptus. I'm going to put a eucalyptus coming out here, one coming through there. We'll have a little grouping of berries right there. We'll have a little stem of wheat coming off there, maybe something there. And I think that's good. We'll have a eucalyptus hanging down there as well. So just a nice little spray out. And so coming back to these colors, now I'm going to add some daffodil yellow to my light green edge and work that in. There we go. Okay, so let's get some leaves in here. I'm going to come in here and we're going to push really hard, give it a little bit of a wiggle and stand up. And then we can reverse direction. Oops, see, I didn't have enough paint on my brush. Reverse direction, and we're going to tuck that right back in there. Okay. And to finish that leaf off, we just want to pull a little stem right in there. Let's come out here, there, push and slide. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of the berry wine here, work that into my lighter green edge, and we can come in here and we're going to have this be a little flatter, like it's coming from underneath. Okay, bring that yellow back. I want to brighten up the edge on this one here. Put a little medium in my brush, and we'll come add some leaves in the back. Okay, I think that's pretty good for leaves right now. What I want to do before I get too far is, let's come back, I clean that brush, but I want to come back and pick up those leaf colors, just the colors that were here on my palette, and then I'm going to add some medium into there, just a little bit more of that darker green, so it's a transparent medium. And we're going to have, oops, whoops, that's still pretty bright. I want that to be more transparent. There we go. And let's thin that one out so it's not quite so standing out. There we go, and here. These are called shadow leaves, and we just make sure that we pull stems into those as well. And we can add more once we're done if we feel they're necessary, just to kind of fill out that bouquet. Okay. All right, now I want to create these eucalyptus, and so I'm going to take a smaller brush. This is an 8 flat, and I want to take some berry wine and some of this classic French gray. Okay, so this is a reddish green eucalyptus. I'll put a little bit of that sap green in there too, okay? Now I don't want to mix this so much that it's too thin on my brush. I still need to have plenty of color here. So I'm going to pick that up. All right, so we're going to come out to, let's work on this one down here. I'm going to come a little closer now. There we go. And so we're going to come to the end of this stem, right? And we're going to make a little circle, like an oval. Okay. And needs to be more smooth on the top. Make a smaller one here. So it's kind of a side view of it, so they're not perfectly round. And we're going to do a bigger one here. Okay, let me get a little bit of that gray there. That's better. The gray almost looks purple against that berry wine, but it's not. A little rounder here. Pick up a little touch of that sap, because there's a little bit of green in these, but they're mostly that maroon color. And under here we'll make them darker. There. Okay, so then we can come in with a script liner. Let's see, there we go. Get some, get that wet and get some streak through the sap green and a little bit of the berry wine. Okay, and we're going to come from underneath our bouquet. And we're going to stop right, I think that needs to be darker, right there. And then from under there, stop there, under there, stop there, stop there, and a little tip. Okay? And then where it goes into, we're going to do a little curve. And then I might streak through just a touch of white. To help that stand out a little bit. And that look a little realistic. All right, so that's just going to go right underneath the edge of that. And I'm going to stand that up over here so I can get back at it. And come back to my loaded 8. Let's get a little more of the gray. Same colors. We're going to do a few more in some other places. So I had some over here, right? So we want a little oval there. And then gets gradually bigger. A little bit of the green in there as well. Okay, and we'll just have a kind of a part of one popping out from underneath here. There. Okay, like it's peeping out. Then we can come back with our 2-liner, get our green and just a touch of that white, not too much. All right, and we're going to come here. Pull that out into the center of the one to the left of it, and from underneath the one to the right. I'm losing my white here. Oops. Okay, and then that little smile right there. So that's looking pretty nice. We'll do one more. So I'm going to come back out so you can see, right? So we're going to have 2 here. We'll have one coming up here. So remember to make them smaller as you go up the stem to the end. There we go. Okay, and then just adding that stem in. So these we're looking at them from kind of below, so we're going to come into it here and then here. Get a little more white because it's not showing. There we go. There. And then a little tip on there. So then you're going to do a little curve this way. Okay. Now to finish those off, I'm going to come back with that 8 flat And we're just going to side stroke a little bit of white on this wet brush. And I'm just going to hit the top curve of each of these with a little highlight. Without creating pink, okay? There we go, just to highlight those off. Now I want to take that same 8 flat and we're going to get some coffee latte. Put that out. And a little bit of yellow ochre, I think, maybe. We're going to load coffee latte. No, that's not looking right, so let's get some white. We'll just go with those 2 colors for now. All right, and so here, we're going to pull that back like that. Okay, and we're going to do little leaves coming off of these. And we need that white to show against our background. So these might get a little longer down here. Should have started at the base. Can you tell my brain starts in the middle of things? There we go. So these need to be a bit longer, I think. Okay, so just little leaf strokes off of here. Now that I want a little darker on that side, so not quite so much white. There. And maybe come side load a little bit of this green on the loaded brush just to give that stem a little depth. That looks nice. Okay, and let's do another one of those right out here. Okay, and we'll balance that out. We'll put one over here. A little too much white. And we'll get a little bit of green on there and pull that out. Okay, so we're getting a really nice look here. Now, what I want to use are these little Q-tips to do this with. So we're going to take about 3 or 4 of these. All right, and we're going to take a hairband and we're going to wrap that around enough so that it holds them, but it's not super tight, okay? And maybe bend these out just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to come and get some of this yellow ochre and a little bit of white. All right, and we're going to come right up here to the top of this little, let's come over this way so you can see a little dabbing here. So let's get some more white because that needs to show up. Let's try that again. So we're going to tap in. That's better. And then tap in some white. All right, so just a little spray of berries there. So let's find another place to put some. Let's put some right coming out here. A little more white. Maybe a little coffee latte would help darken that. Okay, and then the white to kind of highlight the top. Okay, and then maybe we pull right through here. And we'll add a little white on top of that. You know, to get those to really kind of show, I need a little bit darker color. So let's go put a little bit of brown. Don't need a lot. There we go. This is a fall bouquet, so we want a little darker color in there. There, that's better. Maybe we'll have a few down here. Okay, so that's looking very nice. I like that. All right, so let's come in here with our little 8, and we're going to get some sap green and maybe a little berry wine, and we'll pull a few little leaves coming out here. And that berry wine's not doing it for me, so let's get a little yellow. There. I think just the one color is going to be fine. I think there's plenty of berry wine in here, so. Okay, so I'm liking that. That's looking very nice. Just add a few sprays of some greens coming out. Here and there. And I think we will call that bouquet good. So now we're down to just adding some shading. First, what I want to do is start aging some of this wood. I want to get some medium on a 3/4 flat, and we'll get a little bit of this gray, classic French gray, and we're just going to maybe just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of white. And we're going to age over this wood. All right, just kind of dull it back a little bit. So while that's drying some more, I'm going to load some my 3/4 flat with floating medium, and then I'm going to come side load some of this burnt umber. And I want to age, or not age, but shade my pumpkin now. Bring that down a little bit, not quite so orange. So we're just taking this burnt umber around the outside edge. There we go. And then maybe into some of the crevices where the ribs are. I don't want that leaf covered, and I don't want that covered. Okay. We kind of want to set that on the table there, but you don't want to leave those hard lines. So what you want to do is take this corner now, and so if the light is coming from the left, we're going to shade the right side of the pumpkin on the table, kind of in a rounded shape. My brush is really wet. All right, and you can kind of finish that rounded shape out right there. And then come around the wall behind, up against the pumpkin. And do a little slip slap with the corner back there, underneath, if you can, that little bit hanging down there. Okay. And darken this just a little more. Darken this just a little more. And then you can take this small brush, the 8 flat, and do a blend of burnt umber and floating medium, and you can create a little shadow back here of that piece hanging down, this piece coming through here, a little bit back in there. Right, just a few little shadow pieces would be good. And then to finish, get your 16 flat, and we can get medium on that. Whoops. Side load a little of the sap green and a touch of burnt umber with that. And you can come, as long as this is dry, up underneath where these leaves go under. Okay, just to finish in some of those areas. All right, so let's step back and take a look, see how things are with this painting. So just a little bit more brown right in here, I think will make that look a little darker in that shaded area. There we go. All right, so you're going to take your script liner and get some inky color. Let's do the coffee latte. We'll come right in here. Nope, that's not going to show. Get your inky color of white, and there you go. So there is our fall bouquet with chrysanthemums. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and thank you for watching Paintabilities. See you next time.